Coach Marty has revealed his secret plan on how he plans to unlock Juraj Slafkovsky in the second line. We'll be diving into that. Plus, the Habs defense has been way better than expected, and one article shows how they are the key to their success. That plus much more on this episode of Habs Digest. But before we get into the video, as I do occasionally, a quick reminder to hit the subscribe button if you like our videos. If you've been watching them all the time, all these news videos every single day for the Montreal Canadiens, hit that button down below. We'll be here every day, and we want you along for the ride with us. Jesse, first things first, we gotta talk about how the Habs got a record valuation. And, a lot of you guys have probably heard about the new Ottawa Senators owner, Michael Andlauer, and his comments about the NHL. We're not here to talk about that. He was a former minority owner in the Montreal Canadiens, and he sold his 10% minority stake for $250 million, meaning the Habs get a valuation, which is a record for any standalone NHL hockey team, for $2.5 billion. So just to clear it up, he sold his 10% share for $250 million. The Habs are valuated at $2.5 billion. Jesse, I know the Leafs were involved in an $8 billion valuation, but that included all the MLSE teams like TFC, like the Raptors as well. But for a standalone hockey team, this is a record, and it's kind of crazy that of all the places where this could happen, it's Montreal.
It's so true, but I think it's only right in just so many ways, right? We are the most storied, the oldest franchise and everything else. So it is amazing to see. I do take a lot of joy in these things, to see it how, like as a standalone franchise from the Habs, to the Leafs, that we are worth more. We are the hockey meta. We are the holy city of hockey, so I love holding that down.
Yeah, for sure. And if you guys haven't been keeping track of the whole Michael Andlauer situation, I mean, look, this guy used to go to Board of Governors meetings for the Habs, right? He's not a new owner in the NHL in that kind of sense of the word. Like, he's familiar with the processes. He knows Gary Bettman. So we're not going to discuss too much about the Ottawa Senators on this channel, but there's many other places where you can go check that out. Because Michael Andlauer, he seems like a really good owner to me. And yeah, but just really cool. He sold his stake in the Habs for a record valuation. And you got to think that it's only going up from here. Reminder, the Molson bought it for $545 million not that long ago. So kind of crazy. Let's jump into topic number 2, and that is the Habs' key to success is revealed. A lot of things were revealed today, Jesse, but in an article on TSN, they dive into some of the reasons the Habs have been so successful. And the first is really their defense. This is a running 9-game goal differential. You see blue is goal differential, red is the expected goal differential, basically based on play, how much you expect the goal differential to go up. And as you can see there, the end of last year, second half of last year, even though it was below 0, it started to see some consistency. And then so far this year, it is spiking. They say the Habs are conceding just 1.15 goals against per 60 minutes of play at 5v5. Comfortably the best in the NHL. Well, Jake Allen has a .930 save percentage. Monty has a .905. But not only that, they basically say that, like, if you pair some good defense with Caufield, Monahan, and Suzuki, you have the makeup of a team that may annoy the Eastern Conference contenders for the rest of the year. And I completely agree, Jesse. It's like we're watching a different team on defense this year, and the Montreal Canadiens just continue to surprise us.
And showing the right way to really build a team from that back end, right? Because when you have good defense, as a lot of these stats are showing, like, our level of consistency just keeps getting better and better. But when you have good defense, what that allows you to do as a team is it allows you to be consistent. It allows you to have a baseline where you're not just trying to get out into some gunfight, shootout every night against the other teams, not outscoring other teams like the Leafs try to do every night. It's really when you're playing good defense, I feel like, it lends a good playoff hockey as well. Definitely can bring out the best in your goaltending as well. So it's just so nice to see that we're really doing it the right way. Obviously, like, players like Barron, looking so great early in this year. Xhekaj, like, it kind of makes sense. Guhle as well, where they were young last year, but just with a little bit more experience, we knew they're good players. They just need the experience. Now they're coming in and getting it, and we're kind of seeing the results, as part of this. I don't know if we expected to see them kind of turn around their game so quickly, but we're seeing, like, a very big difference from where we were last year defensively and where we are now. And that's key for this team.
Yeah, 100%. Like last year, that it felt like every single game recap we did, the defense is still young. They still need to make some improvements. There have been a lot of turnovers. And while there have been moments like that this year, I don't remember feeling this confident in the Habs defense and also the defense from their forwards, not just the actual defensemen. It's just kind of all around defense, team defense. I don't remember feeling as confident in the defense last year at all as I do right now for the Montreal Canadiens. Is that subject to change? Maybe. These defenders are still young, guys. Don't forget, right? Like, these guys are still young. They're still learning a lot every single day, but there's so much potential, right? The eye test is a big thing. When you watch this team this year, Jesse, it feels different. It looks different than last year. Just many fewer mistakes, better breakout passes. There's some issues here and there, but I mean, wouldn't you agree that like just watching this team, it's just like day to day, it's like night and day between even, this time last year and this time this year.
Absolutely. There's just some things in the NHL where it's really just experience. That's really the only thing, right? That you really need to go through just to really get that. And that was one of, like you said, one of our biggest sore points last year was just that lack of it, right? So now we're getting it. For sure, it's not done all the way, but I mean, we've shown that we're kind of building this team from the back end, which I think is really the right way to do it because it gives you a great baseline from where to build the rest of your team from, so amazing to see that, you can have this great plan, but it's on the players to really execute and start taking more ownership and leadership on this team as they grow. And so to be able to see that now is really quite amazing.
It's really, really exciting. But speaking of exciting, look, we all want to see Slav succeed, but Coach Marty has revealed his secret on how he's about to unlock Slafkovsky. And not just Slav, but the whole second line. Coach Marty was talked to Wednesday after the practice in Tempe, and he had a lot to say, and we kind of teased this in yesterday's video in the Cayden Guhle section, but this is really, really interesting. Of course, this article says that obviously that second line could use a bounce, no question, right? Like Newhook and Anderson both struck iron multiple times against the Golden Knights, and neither them or Slafkovsky have been lucky since game one, but Canadiens coach Marty St. Louis believes the three of them need something else that starts with the letter B, and that is balance. Balance is what they need. They say Slafkovsky might be thinking about how he's not getting enough shots on net, only 10 in 9 games. Newhook's ringing the posts. Anderson is tied with Suzuki in most rush chances, but hasn't been able to finish any of them. Suzuki wants the three of them to be thinking about balance. However, they need to work more effectively together. The three players with assets. It's about finding better balance on the ice and space. And Newhook actually mirrored these comments. They asked him about it. He said, "We watched some film. We see how we can better space on the ice, better set each other up." And to me, Jesse, this is such a brilliant idea. And look, I know like, you said the word balance. Is that brilliant? But look, Marty sees the game in a different way than like almost anyone watching this video. When you watch these guys play together, you can see there's not always a ton of chemistry and they sometimes get close together. And I think if that's the focus, to spread them out a bit more, to help each other work on the ice better, because they're kind of three semi-individual players, right? None of them are all like super playmakers. Newhook's fast, can get point A to point B. Anderson's a one-on-one rush kind of guy, and Slav is more of a physical body who can kind of do that as well and send some high-danger passes. I think this is just such a cool plan to hear, and it's awesome to hear that Coach Marty is seriously putting in some specific time to boost this second line.
Definitely, and Marty believes in this line, and absolutely his way of looking at the game is absolutely next level. Nick Suzuki said recently he feels that Martin St. Louis is one of the best coaches in the NHL right now. And I believe him. Just, he's shown it in his career as a player. But just as a coach, he's going to start getting his accolades. It's going to start coming through because absolutely the way he sees the game, the way he feels it is that like you need to fill in the spaces according to your players on the ice of where you are. If you're really kind of offering that support as a 5-man unit by filling in those spaces, then really that's where those shots come from. That's where those goals come from. And if we look at the second line for the Habs, they've had 1 goal recently in 24 scoring chances, but we're still winning hockey games. Mm-hmm. So if we could get this second line, which obviously your second line, your team's very important. If we can get them clicking, then for me, that's a big sign that we can keep winning. But we really need them to do that. They're going to be really key to that. And I feel like Juraj Slafkovsky is the key to this second line. Make no mistake about it. Like Alex Newhook even said about Juraj Slafkovsky recently, he has the most potential in the world. It's like he's got a lot of potential, this guy. And this line, like, his ability to be able to read the play and to read the ice and to see where he needs to go, find that spacing, not being too far from his teammates, but not being too close, right? It's all in relation to what the other team's doing as well. It's going to be his ability to do this that's going to really unlock this second line, and I have trust in his ability to do so.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good point, right? Like these three guys, when they were put together, of course, Newhook and Anderson had some chemistry right off the bat, but we saw Slav lag a bit behind, and we're seeing that starting to level out a bit now as they're getting closer to each other. But you're very right. Like if Slafkovsky can learn there have been studies that show like a lot of players only learn how to use their bodies. I don't have a site. I can't really cite my source, so I'm sorry. So maybe I'm talking out of my butt. I don't know. But read something that says the players only learn how to use their strength really when they turn 21, and we're seeing Slav improving on that every year. But if we can see him improve day to day, right? working on using his body to get to the right position, learning where his other teammates are on the ice a bit more. It's going to be such a key for not just his success, but that whole second line. And like you said, Jesse, the Habs are experiencing some amazing success with just Suzuki, Caufield, and Monahan really carrying the scoring load mainly on offense, and Justin Barron on defense. 3 goals, awesome. But if this second line can get clicking, like this Habs team could just be a pain for every other team in the Atlantic. We're already 5-2-2, and who knows how much further they can go if this second line can get moving. But that'll do it for this news episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 8,500 subs. You guys have been supporting like crazy, and we really appreciate it. I'm Josh Gosse for my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.